Hello, I'm Sandra Viktorova. Thank you for joining us. It took only 8 days for the state of Florida to transform the Dade-Collier Training and Transition Airport into Alligator Alcatraz. That facility is currently holding approximately 1,000 detainees, but has the capacity to house close to 3,000 people. Less than a month into operations, the detention center has been the target of multiple lawsuits alleging damage to the critical ecosystem, inhumane conditions, and violations of constitutional rights. However, Governor Ron DeSantis recently called the detention center a professionally run facility and says it will help deliver on President Donald Trump's mission of mass deportation for criminal illegal aliens. DeSantis says he is baffled by efforts from Democrats to fight to protect people who aren't legally allowed to be in this country.
This airport is able to accept commercial-sized aircraft and conduct both day and nighttime operations. And so that's what it's all about, to be able to help process and remove folks that are legally in the state of Florida and in the United States of America. We've already had a number of flights in the last few days. We've had hundreds of illegals have been removed from here.
State Representative Adam Botana of Bonita Springs recently visited the detention center. He said the facility was adequate and met the needs of detainees. He says the facility is needed and will help deal with illegal immigration. State Representative Adam Botana of Bonita Springs also visited the detention center. Welcome, Representative Botana. We appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, sir, I understand you visited recently. What were your observations? I understand that that you feel that it was clean and safe.
Yes, ma'am. Again, thanks for having me. We went out there probably a week and a half ago now. We were invited by DEM, that was the Florida Department of Emergency Management, Kevin Guthrie, to come out here and tour the facility to see what's going on there. We were asked to bring no staff, just representatives, congressmen, everything else. Absolutely love to go out and tour it and see what's going on. Went out there, went through the gates, you would say, of the detention center, checked in, toured the facility, was in the kitchen area, recreational area. We actually seen where the detainees are in a block. We toured a new area, the showers. We toured we're under construction for new tents, where they have a new building where they're putting tents up. We actually went into a holding area where they hold the detainees. And I have to say, it was clean. The food looked good. It was a clean facility. I've spent time myself in jail, and I have to say it was a lot nicer. I was at the Naples City Jail, and I have to say the facility, Alligator Alcatraz, was a much cleaner facility.
As you know, other lawmakers have said that complained about inhumane conditions, talking about excessive heat and frigid temperatures. Why is there such a disparity between what some lawmakers, claim the conditions are versus others?
Yeah, absolutely. It's politics, right? It plays to the press. Press are going to pick up. They're not going to pick up my story saying, "Hey, this was a good facility." It ran well. The press is not going to pick up on that. I was on the same tour that Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz was on. I seen the turkey sandwich that she was talking about. I seen a meal that was adequate for a detainee. They get three meals a day. No matter if they come there at 2:00 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon, they get a meal as soon as they get there. What I seen was a turkey sandwich, chips, a cookie, and some fruit. Now, the food that the staff was getting was obviously a lot better. It looked a lot more looked good. A turkey sandwich is a turkey sandwich. Everything was clean in that facility. As far as frigid colds, I don't know of anything being frigid cold in the Everglades in the summertime. We walked around. The building was chilly. We went inside the detention area where they had the detainees in, and it was cool. It wasn't hot, wasn't sweating. I mean, do they say they're in cages? Well, yeah, they're detained. They're detained inside a facility where there's 30 guys. Each person has 200 square feet. The bunks are comfortable. Um, Again, these people are breaking the law. They are here illegally. Did I feel bad walking down the inmate, the line when they're bringing them in? Yeah, of course I did. But again, they're here illegally. If you're here illegally, you're not supposed to be here. It is unfortunate. Um, and I think a lot of these people have been here 10, 15 years, and they've been, constantly looking over their shoulder, and it's a horrible way to live. But I think we have to do stuff at the federal level and the immigration to make it easier for these people to stay and to work the proper way. H-2Bs, H-2As, there's different work visas that I think the federal government needs to really approve on, to get these people out here to work. But if you're here illegally, they need to go back.
We have heard estimates that it will cost about $450 million to operate this facility annually. The state has been tapping into those emergency management funds to pay for it. There hasn't been a reimbursement yet. Your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I think with our governor, especially in our area, so I represent District 80, which was District 76 before redistricting. We got hit by Hurricane Ian. We got wiped out. Fort Myers Beach, Sanibel, Captiva, Bonita Springs, we got wiped out. Then the governor wrote a check out of general revenue for $2 billion to get us back on our feet that quickly. He built the bridge in Matlacha in 3 days. He built the bridge in Sanibel in about a month. If we would rely on the federal government, we'd still be waiting to get a bridge to get over to Matlacha. So for the governor to come in and say, hey, let's get this taken care of, let's figure this out, we'll get reimbursed later, I support that. We have a problem where we have illegals here, and they have to get them out. I mean, that's a problem that we did. I mean, our governor is standing behind our president. The border was closed, it was shut down, and we have to get these illegals out of here the proper way. And if the governor feels that this is a Department of Emergency Management, it decides a declaration of emergency management, I think he's doing a good job, and I'm okay with it.
And I want to make sure I correct myself. That amount was $450 million to operate annually. At least that's the estimate. I want to move on to this idea that President Trump had said the facility would house some of the most vicious people on the planet. I imagine you read that the Miami Herald and the Tampa Bay Times did an investigation saying that several hundred people there had immigration infractions but did not have a criminal record. I spoke to an attorney who shared the story of her client, who is a 23-year-old college student in Key West, born in Nicaragua, that came into the country legally with a tourist visa, but put in a political asylum claim and was waiting for his day in immigration court. She said, somebody like that shouldn't be at a facility like Alligator Alcatraz. What are your thoughts on that? I obviously, I think we all can agree, people who have serious criminal records who are here without, authorization should be removed, right? But stories like that are a bit different, aren't they?
So an immigration infraction, is it like a speeding infraction? If you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law, correct?
Well, attorneys would say that an
Attorneys?
immigration infraction is a civil violation, not a criminal one. But in this case, a case like this, where it's a 23-year-old college student who's waiting for his day in court, should he be held at a facility like this?
It's unfortunate, with our immigration policy, like I said before, the federal level definitely needs to do something. At our state level, we're here to, this is a problem that we have to deal with, and our governor felt that, this is a detention center that needs to be operated, and that's where it goes. I mean, obviously, there's going to be issues along, because if you come here and say, hey, I want political assignment, all right, well, come back in a year to go through your court date. Obviously, that's not a good situation. Now, if there's lapses, out of the federal level, that's unfortunate. But the main thing is we have to have these. If they're here illegally, they got to go. Simple as that. If you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law. An infraction, I mean, a speeding infraction, and if we can get an attorney involved and say everything is split hairs. But if you're here legally, this is a problem. As far as the most vicious people in the world, I didn't see that. I mean, I've seen people that when I was there, it was diverse. I just didn't see Spanish folks. I just didn't see. I mean, I've seen Asians. I've seen Eastern Europeans. So there was a lot of people there. And it was majority of it was Spanish, but again, it's unfortunate. If that kid was here from Nicaragua and there's an infraction, hopefully he stays up to date. I've had people reach out to my office that are concerned because they're here and they're a legal alien. And I suppose you have to keep checking in and go through the process. You can't let anything fall behind because they're concerned about it. But that is as far as I've come to my office, and we've been in contact with Byron Donald's office about this because that's more of a federal level.
I know you are passionate about Everglades restoration. Do you have any concerns that this was developed so quickly without environmental impact studies?
The land was already developed before, correct?
Sure, there was an airstrip there, absolutely.
Yeah, there was a runway, there was facilities, there was paved land, that was there already. If anything was repaved, it was already paved at one time. I've seen silt fences, I've seen everything done. They truck in all the water, they bring all the power, and they truck all the sewage and everything back out of there. As far as environmental impact, I would say maybe light pollution, noise pollution, but I do not believe that this is going to affect Everglades restoration. It's our pride here in the state of Florida that we are working to bring billions of dollars back to open the water south, to move the water south. I mean, we did that with C-43, working with C-44. And look at, again, the governor is taking over with the Army Corps to build out the EAA reservoir, which is going to happen 5 years sooner. If we rely on the federal government, it would take 10 years longer. Again, that circles back to where, do you believe that this is needed? Yes, I do. I mean, our state does a great job. Our legislature does a great job rebuilding after a storm. And if this is another emergency that they have to do, I believe I support it 100%.
Representative Botana, we so appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. We've got more great content for you, from news to the arts to the environment. So be sure to like and subscribe to WGCU's YouTube channel and follow us on our social media platforms for the stories that matter to you.